Hey there fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Paris, France. As you can see, Notre Dame right behind me. And today what we have for you are 5 things you're going to love and hate about moving abroad. Now this is actually a specific part of when you actually go abroad, and we've done this a lot. I mean, I've lived in Finland, I lived in China, we've lived in, where else we live? Portugal, the US, Argentina, Brazil, Austria, Portugal. I mean, we've lived lots of places and we moved lots of places. And it's been great, and there's been stuff we hate. So let's get started. Now the first thing you're going to hate about moving abroad is you're going to miss your family, okay? And coming with that, it's not just you missing your family, it's also the family you take with you. They're going to have missing their family back home as well. So you do get homesick, you do miss grandma, and you do miss some of the big occasions out there, both good and bad. I've missed some important weddings, but also I didn't get to say goodbye to my grandma when she died when I lived in Berlin. So there's a lot of issues that are out there when you do move abroad that you have to take in to know you are going to be sacrificing, you are going to be away from your family. Also, your kids, they're going to miss their friends. What are you going to do about these things? So that's the first thing that really sucks, is you're going to miss your family, you're going to miss your friends. Okay, now to help fight this, what I do recommend is make sure everyone has a Skype account so you can video call. Also plan for your friends to come visit you, but also plan for you to go back home sometimes and visit them so you can enjoy and keep those friendships going. And friendships is what leads us into the second thing you're going to hate when you move abroad, is making those first local friends. Because most of the time when you go abroad, I see people, they only hang out with other expats or other foreigners, which is fun because yes, they're going through the same experiences as you, but then you don't learn about the local culture, you don't learn the local language as well, these kind of things. So what I recommend you do is take the time and the effort, especially when you first get there, to get to know local people, get to know local customs, get to know these things so you have a better chance to meet people. And that's why it's really important you learn the local language, because then you can talk to the locals, show them the respect that, look, I am living here, I'm learning this language, and I want to know about it, and that really makes it easier for you to make friends. I've seen that a lot of times with foreigners when I've lived abroad, where they refuse to learn the local language, people refuse to get to know them. They learn some of the language, people are so excited, and you make a lot of friends that way. The third thing you're not going to like about when you move abroad is learning those cultural differences. You know, like in Germany, you will always be pünktlich. You will always be on time. Portugal, someone invites you to dinner at 8 o'clock, they mean show up at 9. If you don't know these things, it can be really frustrating. How do I deal with the bureaucracy? How do I sign up for cable? Which doctor do I go? I mean, you don't know what you're supposed to do, and so it does get very frustrating. And that's why it's one of the tough things when you first move. You know, what are you going to do? Okay, so those cultural differences, what you need to do is make sure you do your research before you go. There's a book series called Culture Shock that I really recommend. Watching these love and hate videos, they also help as well to get your idea of what's going on. Okay, so just know the third thing you're not going to like are those first cultural shocks. You're like, ugh, you get really frustrated, but you'll learn to love them in the end. I was really glad because I knew anytime I had to do anything in Portugal, I always had extra time. The fourth thing that sucks about moving abroad is getting sick, because you don't know, and we actually have a video on things that suck about being sick when you travel, and it really goes into when you move abroad, when you get sick, you don't have a doctor, or you're not sure where you're supposed to go. I mean, do I go to the hospital for a stuffy nose? I mean, I'm a little sick now. What should I do? And it's not fun, okay? You don't know where to go. You don't know which doctors to talk to. How do you pay for it? Which insurance places can you go to? Also, what if you don't speak the language or they don't speak your language? It's hard to, you got a kidney stone. You're like, oh, I have a pee-pee en fuego. My pee-pee burns, it hurts. They think maybe you have a STD, and really what you have is a kidney stone. And so that's one of those things that can really suck when you move abroad, is getting sick and dealing with all the stuff that goes with that. And the fifth thing you're going to hate about moving abroad is actually the actual moving, okay? What are you going to pack? What are you going to take with you? Which toys are going with the kids? Which ones aren't going with the kids? You know, what pictures do you take? I mean, am I selling everything at home? Am I packing it up? Am I putting it in storage? What am I going to do with it? Also, how do I get it there? I mean, I'm moving to Europe. I have one suitcase to live off of for 2 years. Am I going to buy all my new stuff there? Getting everything set up when you move abroad and finding that place to live, and actually the whole moving process is the worst. And then when you move back to the US, or you're back to your home country, it's just as crappy, okay? So those are the 5 things I hate about moving abroad. But what are the 5 things you're gonna love about moving abroad? Well, the first thing you're gonna love about moving abroad is, guys, it is a fantastic experience. You are moving abroad, you are going abroad, you're gonna live here in Paris, you're gonna have crepes, and you're gonna eat croissants and baguettes, and it's just awesome, okay? So there are some fantastic things. The big thing that is, it is a great experience to move abroad and go live abroad. The second thing you're gonna love are the friends you make when you do move abroad, because you'll see is the people you do make, whether they are expats or locals, you become much more attached to them because, hey, I've moved to this country, I don't know a lot of new people, I'm starting to get from scratch, so you kind of latch on. It's like when you have little kids, their first buddies in school, they really latch onto, and that same thing happens to you, so you really do make a really good bond with the friends you make when you do move abroad. The third thing you're gonna love about moving abroad is the opportunity to travel. You can see so much more now. Hey, we're working here in Paris, you know what? Hey, let's just grab the train this weekend and go to Cologne, or go to Bruges, or let's take the Eurostar and go to London, or hop on a flight and go down to Athens. You have all these awesome opportunities now when you do move abroad to spend your weekends doing other things instead of just sitting in your apartment back home. So make sure you take advantage of that and get traveling. The fourth thing you'll love about moving abroad, and this is one of the things I really enjoyed about it, is when you move abroad with your family, it does really make you a lot closer because you have all these shared experiences. You're going through the fights and you're going through the bureaucracy BS and all these things together. My son Caleb, we had to sit through hours in the foreign office to get our visas. So the things that happen to you, you get to have those shared experiences. So, you know, my kids and I, we got to go eat our chicken and clams in Portugal and make our friends together there. We got to fight the Portuguese bureaucracy together. We get to experience Paris together. And you're not just losing your kid to iPods and going off and stuff. You really are closer with them because you are experiencing this whole living abroad experience with them. So it lets you have these shared stories and shared experiences with your family, which really brings you a lot closer. And I know for my family, all this traveling, all this moving abroad really has made us a lot closer because we talk more, we share more, and we have more stories to talk about when we have those slow nights at the dinner table. And that is one of those things that's fantastic. And the fifth thing you're gonna love about moving abroad, one of the things that's extremely cool, is the culture you bring back with you. Because when you go live abroad, you experience all these things and you get to take the best parts of all these different cultures with you. Okay, I know for me, one of the great things is we were working in China and now we have like a tea culture in our house. In Portugal, we had our tremosos and beer that my son used to go. He would have ice cream, I'd have the beer. We'd do all these things, and you'd have all these things we take from around the world. Aperitivos, we have our Aperol, Spritz Aperol from Veneto we like to drink, and you know, and all kinds of fantastic things you can, culture things you can get from abroad. You can bring that home with you, so your home becomes a world home. So those are the 5 things that I loved and hate about moving abroad. What are the things you love and hate about moving abroad or living abroad? Please put in the comments below. Now, we have other videos, 5 things you love and hate about working abroad, living abroad, all kinds of stuff on our website at woltersworld.com. We appreciate all your likes and subscriptions, and we hope to see you again soon, whether it's here in Paris or Berlin or Beijing or wherever. So, bye from Paris, France. Bye.